Welcome to Accelerate My Practice. So glad you could join me here today in the AMP studio. You know, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about the evolution of having an employee, if you will. And last week, we talked about how not to get fired, or if you're not doing your job, apparently how to get fired. And so this week, I want to talk about interviewing, how to interview. And the reason why I want to do that is I hear this question a lot where if I could just find the right employee, if I could just find the right people. And it makes me think of a conversation I had very recently with a doctor out of Arizona. And this doctor was someone who had looked at hiring us a year ago. And when one of my people was in their meeting with him a year ago, Becca, he was looking for hiring the right person in the front desk. And if we hire the right person, all the problems will be solved. What's interesting is you fast forward 12 months, and I just talked to the guy recently, and he's in the exact same position he was a year ago. And he's still saying, if I just find the right person, and clearly hasn't been able to. And so the challenge becomes, as I watch various offices fight this fight all the time of, I can't find the right people, I can't find the right people. You know, a lot of times it starts with leadership issues, which we obviously hound a whole lot here. And so I want to start today off by talking about how to interview, how to find the right candidate, the right person, so you end up getting the quality people that you want to have that fit you philosophically. And in true Darren or AMP fashion, I want to start off with a humorous video about this very topic. I think you'll find this pretty funny. It's a couple minutes long, but it's well worth the watch. It should have you kind of rolling on the ground. And then we'll come back and we'll discuss how not to do what this person did. You know, obviously, that's not the kind of person we want to hire. That's not the circumstance we want to be in. So, you know, let's look at this whole journey and this whole process. And let's start with, how do we even get somebody to apply? All too often, we put out a Craigslist ad or an ad in the newspaper or something like that. You know, I had a client at one point on the East Coast who was looking to hire a front desk. And this ad, I should have pulled it before I did this show. I should have pulled it to read to you, because this ad read something to the effect of, you know, we're looking for a front desk person who understands this software, can manage taking payments, scheduling patients, and needs to be good with Excel and Word. You know, apply within sort of thing. It was an ad that read like from 1989. It was terrible. And it's a wonderful office and a wonderful doctor. And you know, so after about a month of her applying to, or having the ad out, she's like, you know, I don't really have anyone who's applying. And I'm like, show me the ad. So she sends me the ad, and I'm like, no wonder. I wouldn't apply either. So what's interesting is we've got to use our ad to sell our practice. So a lot of times what you'll see whenever I write ads for you, or the team writes ads for you, we'll write it understanding the vulnerability of whoever's looking, right? So whoever's looking in the want ads, there's something, they're either unemployed or they're dissatisfied with their job. And typically the reason why they're dissatisfied with their job is because whoever they work for is not treating them nice, not very respectful. Who knows what the story is? But if we're thinking ahead, kind of like the game of chess this woman played while she was interviewing, if we're thinking ahead through this game of chess and understanding who's going to read these ads, either unemployed people that we might not want, or people who are dissatisfied but could be rock stars, we need to attract them. So what we need to do is start the ad off with something to the effect of, do you feel unappreciated at your current position? Do you feel like you want to contribute more to your boss, to your office, and your opinions aren't valued? You know, here at Darren's dental office, we're a very dynamic group that believes in total health of our patients and gets very, very excited about treating the total health of our patients. If being a part of a dynamic team is something that would interest you, please email us what would make you an exceptional addition to our team. And then add this to the very bottom. Please define the M in MOD in the subject line. So let's talk through this ad now. What all have I accomplished in here? First off, I went after the person who is a fabulous employee who's really excited and feeling unappreciated. Secondly is, I sold your practice as being amazing, an amazing place to work where people get excited, we all sing Kumbaya, give each other high fives in the morning. And hopefully that's what it's like. If it's not, we should work towards that. But it excites someone to apply for the job in the first place, as opposed to looking for a receptionist in a dental office. We pay $13 an hour and you need to know Microsoft Excel and Word. There's nothing inspiring about that. So we need to inspire them to want to come work for us in the first place, get them excited about it, and then put the onus on them to sell themselves to you. So please send me a reason why you would be a dynamic, awesome fit to the team. Now, if they send you a paragraph saying, hey, I'm looking for a job, hit delete. Don't read it any further. Done. If they can't build a relationship with you when they want a job, they're not going to be able to build a relationship with your patients when they're getting a paycheck. They're going to be very, very complacent. That's the person who is unemployed, not the person who's employed but looking for something better. Secondly is the very last line of that of please define the M and MOD in the subject line. Two things about that. First off, if they don't know anything about dentistry, they won't know what MOD stands for, and they won't know what to put there. And they'll put because I do this myself, and the funniest thing I ever got was Master of My Own Destiny. It was hilarious. I loved it. I actually called the person because it was so good. So it rules out all the people who don't know anything. I hear all the time whenever doctors put out want ads for someone that they have everybody and their brother apply for the job that's completely unqualified. We put out a dental hygiene job and we have people who don't even know what a dental hygienist is applying for the job who don't have a degree. We need to rule those people out. So by doing that, it allows us to get rid of that riffraff. Secondly is if they do have a degree and they do understand dentistry, but yet they don't define it, guess what you have? Someone who can't follow directions, and we don't want that person either. Let them go right by. So if in the subject line of the email they don't get that right, don't even bother opening, just hit delete. So what we want to do is rule out all that riffraff and allow it to where we only get the people that we want. So now I want to move on a little bit to the interview techniques. What do we say during the interview? And hopefully I won't run out of time, but we'll at least get through the high-level psychology stuff. So we've got a list of questions that we can send to you about this. And what you're going to find is when we interview prospective people for our company, we're psych profiling these people with very casual types of questions. How'd you get into dentistry? It seems like just a normal everyday question of, hey, how's your day? And what you'll find is what we're asking there is not really how did you get into dentistry. What I want to find out is, do you give me a one-word answer like, hey, my friend Susie worked in a dental office and made killer bank and I wanted a job just like that. That's not the person you want. I want to hear someone who gets engaged and excited about dentistry and has passion behind it. So a simple question like, how did you get into dentistry? If they give you a 10-second answer, it's going to be a short interview. If they give you a 3 to 5 minute answer that's all fiery and excited and has some passionate answer, that's the person you're looking for. Because remember, it's about relationship building. So there's so many questions, simple questions that will tell you so much about a person. So let's talk through a few of these. Tell me about a past challenging circumstance you had in another office and how you handled it. What leadership qualities did you demonstrate in this process? How did it work out? What did you learn about yourself through this challenge? What insight can you gain here by asking them about their perfect job? Do they like challenges or do they just like the path of least resistance? Too often we run into people, whether it's doctors, clients, who are just looking for the easy button versus the ones who are trying to do it right. Because there's two ways to do everything. There's the easy way, which is usually a shortcut that does not involve long-term success. And then there's the right way to do things. And there's a million different right ways. There's not one right way, of course. But it's really fascinating how much you can learn when you ask stuff like that. Another question, do you prefer to be led or do you prefer to lead? And this is important if you understand yourself, whether you're the office manager or the doctor, you need to understand yourself and how you show up. Are you a leader in the practice or are you looking to hire a leader in the practice? And if all you do is hire a whole lot of leaders, you're going to have some challenges. There's a reason why there's a pilot and a co-pilot in a plane. When push comes to shove and a decision needs to be made, one person gets to make it because otherwise we'll just sit here and argue about it. And in this other practice, that circumstance I was describing, what you had was two alphas there. Both were fighting to be in charge. Neither was willing to listen, and there was no clear pecking order. So it's interesting to ask that question ahead of time of, do you like to be led or do you prefer to lead? And are you good at it? If you've got some skills there and I'm looking for a leader, yeehaw, awesome. If by contrast, I'm looking for someone who can follow the marching orders and do exactly what I'm after, I don't necessarily want a leader. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you're finding this to be very, very engaging and has you thinking differently about how to hire. So take this content, talk to your coach if you're needing to hire about how to personalize it for you. And if you need this list of questions, any of our coaches can get it to you at any time. I hope you've enjoyed our show. If there's other topics you want to hear in the future, please email them over to me so I can start preparing. This is your show. I want to make sure I'm doing content just for you. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you next week, 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye for now. What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted.